Yo, what's good, y'all? Your boy Justin Henry here. Been a minute, man. As you can see, my setup has changed, but the content is still going to be here. For those who are looking for fantasy football, wondering, JHEN, you still there? Everything is still intact. Your boy has been living his best life. You feel me? So I'm live right now. If you guys drop in the chat, I will answer whatever questions come in. If not, if you guys see this after, watch through. I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about what I've been up to. Obviously, there's a lot of rumors as far as the NFL trades, but then also, too, like we had a whole season that happened last year, and I know on my end, y'all didn't see me for the second half of it. We got to about week 7 to 9, somewhere in there, and things fell off for your boy. So for those who are here tapped in, feel free to drop whatever questions you have. We have the NFL Combine going on right now. Obviously, those with dynasty leagues that got drafts. I know you guys got questions. It's going to take me a minute to get up to speed on all of that, but I'll do whatever I can as far as from what I know, knowledge-wise. If you want to talk about last year, some things that went right, that went wrong for you, it's good. But just to kind of set the stage as to why I was gone before I get into the NFL, the free agency, the trade rumors and everything like that, just kind of set the stage as to where I was at. I was overseas. I think a lot of people knew that. I was in Europe and kind of going through the process. I've been to Portugal, I've been to Spain, but some plans had changed. And so in November, we went to Spain, went to the NFL game. It was like shit got hectic for you, boy. You feel me? It got hectic. So ended up going to Germany, Czech Republic, went to Austria, and then went to Italy. So it was real cool. And then after Italy, decided, hey, Europe's been cool, but we want to keep, the warmer weather. Like I'm going to Asia. And so we went to Thailand for 2 months. And then behind me, you see Malaysia. I don't know if you guys know where Malaysia is, but it's right by Thailand. Dope spot. So I have been in vacation mode, living life mode, but that doesn't mean fantasy stops. And I know for you guys that were depending on me, hopefully you had a good framework from the draft kit. Obviously, we'll get another one of those going this year, but hopefully you had a good framework. It was about mid-season, so hopefully you had a good sense of, I know there's a lot of injuries this year, but hopefully you had a good sense of what was going on. For me, the time difference was very tough. Staying up until 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, watching all the games and then being able to get my reports and stuff. Like there was a lot there for me that I was like, you know what, I got to just live life. So like I said, for those who are depending on me later in the year, my bad. We're going to keep it moving to this year, though. I'll be back in the States in May. But for now, I'm also going to be, I'm talking about on the road doing more stuff. So it won't be daily. But as the offseason comes in, we are definitely going to get fantasy content out. So y'all's got questions right now, feel free, man. Go ahead and drop it in the chat. But for those who have been waiting on some kind of update or anything, Malaysia is where I'm at right now and plan to be for the next month. So as far as the NFL free agency, I'm excited about free agency for fantasy. And I think the main position that I'm like super interested in right now is this running back position. Because I feel like it could go a bunch of ways, right? You got Breece Hall, obviously free agent for the Jets. Who knows what that looks like? They're talking about franchising them. We'll see if that actually happens. But then Travis Etienne, that's going to be another one where I'm like, if he goes to the Chiefs, I know the Chiefs is like the hot spot right now. They were talking about Breece Hall last year at the deadline. Got Etienne potentially moving spots there as well. But then like in the draft, Jeremiah Love running a 4.36. That kind of brings new energy to what the Chiefs have. And, Tyreek Hill supposedly paid him a visit. Like there is a lot there when it comes to this running back position. So I want to see what this thing looks like because it's not just the Chiefs. That's just the team everybody talks about. The Giants need a running back, right? You got Cam Scatterbo coming back from his injury. You have the Cardinals, James Conner's coming back. Trey Benson was kind of a dud, didn't have a chance to really show what he was worth, right? There are a lot of good running back landing spots, and I think that's what I'm most curious about. Where do these running backs end up? So if you guys got players, let me know. Jeremy, what's good, bro? Tapping in, man. Said, JHEN, what's good, bro? Listen, things are phenomenal right now. I have been on a life trek. Like I said, we visited 12 countries in the last 5-6 months, and we still got more on deck. So appreciate you tapping in. Jeremy. Ray, what's popping? My boy? Things are good on this end. Like I said, hopefully y'all won your fantasy championship. It's been a minute on the content, but I want to go over the top free agents and discuss where I think the best landing spots will be for them. So if you guys have free agents you want to know about, dynasty questions, if you got trades, feel free to drop them in. Iris, what's popping? What's popping, Iris? What's popping? Let's take a look at the free agent board. I know one of the biggest free agents that people want to talk about from the receiver position is Alec Pierce. That seems to be like the hot commodity. For me, I don't really think Alec Pierce is a 1. I think he's a 2, and he's probably going to go to a spot and probably have an elevated role for who he is. So be careful with Alec Pierce. I think that's a name that, like, he played for the contract, is going to get the contract. I know he was a former second-round pick, but just be careful with Alec Pierce if that's who you're looking for to kind of like rely on, or you're planning on him being like a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 for your team. Be careful with Alec Pierce. I think he goes to the wrong spot and gets a 4-year deal. Ain't the best situation for you. Cool, man. What's good? What's good? What's good, bro? What's popping? He said, I know. Oh, normally I got the hat on too. I ain't got the hat on yet. Normally I got the hat on. My bad. I know you're not the biggest fan of rookies from what that's how you know I'm rusty. That's how y'all know I'm rusty. I ain't even had a hat on. I know you're not the biggest fan of rookies from what I remember, but how are you feeling about Tate after his combine? Cardinal Tate, obviously a little slower is what they're saying. Obviously a little slower on tape than what they wanted. But I mean, sometimes the talent speaks. And I think this is the big point that I want to make, cool, man, about the combine in general. I think for people in fantasy, the combine is not as important as where they get drafted. A lot of times you can find, value in some players because they ran a fast 40, or because they're more athletic than it looks, or they run through the drills really smoothly. But I think what happens in fantasy and in dynasty specifically is we get so attached to what was their 40 time. Really the 40. That's really what matters for most people. It's height, weight, hand size. But I think where that really matters is at the NFL level, because you can have a great combine warrior that doesn't perform. What a combine typically does is it maybe raises the draft stock of somebody who we kind of already had graded, or maybe it pushes a team away because they see he's a little slower, or they see he's not as strong, right? And so I think about like Apuka, who ran a slow 40, or you have some guys who played fast. Anthony Richardson probably elevated his stock based on his, athletic ability. So when it comes to like rookies, Tate specifically, or the combine, it is what it is. It's just a showcase of talent, but there's years of film on these guys, which is absolutely more important than any 40, vertical, etc. So I think for those who are looking for like combine gems, or like somebody who can run a 4.3 in the 4th round, and you're looking for 6.4, 5, a lot of times we already know who those guys are, and that's why they're already on our draft board. So be very, very careful with the combine, and specifically looking for players based on the combine and drafting them in dynasty. All right. Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is a very interesting case. Now, as far as free agents, I think, we got Mike Evans, you got Alec Pierce, but you're right. Tyreek Hill is a name that we do need to pay attention to, especially if he goes anywhere near Patrick Mahomes in that Kansas City offense. They got Eric Bieniemy as the offensive coordinator back, so this could be a reunion of sorts for Tyreek Hill. The major problem is he's dealing with the significant knee injury, which – as a speed guy, that's what Tyreek has always done, right? He's been a burner, uses speed downfield. And it's like, once that has been impacted, are we getting the same player? You guys know, for those who have been around the channel for a while, y'all know I like drafting older players reliable. But then there's also a point where I say, okay, when is the risk worth the reward? And right now I get concerned about Tyreek Hill. Is the risk worth the reward unless he goes to KC? Or he's tied to a really good quarterback. So I think when it comes to Tyreek Hill, I want to see a landing spot. But in Dynasty, I think if you're not buying him at wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 1 prices, I think that there's a very high ceiling if things hit. It's just that ceiling, hitting that ceiling is like 10, 15%, as opposed to the failure of that, probably closer to 75, 80% failure. So when it comes to Tyreek Hill, maybe I'll draft him as a flex, wide receiver 3, depending on where ADP is in redraft. In Dynasty, if I'm a contender, I might want to do it now before he goes to a KC, before he gets paired up with a good quarterback. But just know he could miss a portion of the season to start on PUP, IR, And he could also just not be the same player. And if he goes to KC, they already got Worthy. You already got Travis Kelce looks like he's coming back. Rasheed Rice. You got Patrick Mahomes coming off an injury. There's still a lot there when it comes to Tyreek Hill and making sure that he has available targets and available talent that's still left with him. So be careful with Tyreek Hill and overpaying or thinking the name Tyreek Hill is going to save your fantasy team. That's what I would say. So in the meantime, I do also want to talk about a couple other quarterbacks. I want to talk about Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray is very intriguing. And this is a player that, for me, I have a lot of thought process about, right? So when it comes to Kyler Murray, like, what are we getting out of this dude now? That's the major problem, is what are we getting out of him? He was playing well to start the year, and then it's like the whole COD, Call of Duty stuff starts to impact, obviously what people think about him. But as a leader, as a fantasy player, like, as a fantasy, quarterback, what are we getting out of him? He got benched last year, and he got hurt. Like, when he was healthy enough to play, Jacoby Brissett came in there and looked better than Kyler Murray did. So Kyler specifically is probably a trade candidate to go somewhere, maybe even a cut candidate. And it's like, where does he really go? A lot of teams are going to be looking at quarterback in the draft. Obviously, you got Mendoza probably going to the Raiders. Do they need a backup? I don't know what that's looking like. But you do have some teams in need of a quarterback or potentially even a transitional quarterback. If you think about like the Pittsburgh Steelers, might need a quarterback to transition after Aaron Rodgers is there. So I start to think about potential landing spots for Kyler. You got Miami. Now Tua's probably going to be gone. So the other thing is there, Malik Willis is starting to command more attention for some reason. This is a major head scratcher. Malik Willis is starting to command more attention than Kyler Murray is. And I understand Kyler Murray is a veteran in the game now, but for me, I'm still like, why are we sleeping on Kyler Murray as a talent? It's not like he was playing terribly to start the year. He was just off. It didn't look the part. He wasn't winning football games, which I get, but are there 32 quarterbacks better than Kyler? So for me, I think he's a quarterback that people are giving up on in Dynasty, specifically just around the league, and I don't quite understand it. It's not like he looked like Tua. To me, Tua Tagovailoa, that's going to be an interesting case as well where he goes, but he looks more like a backup competing for a starting spot. That, to me, seems more like a Tua Tagovailoa situation. When it comes to Kyler, I'm very interested to see where he goes because I don't think that this is the end of Kyler Murray the same way I think it kind of is the end for Tua Tagovailoa. So I think when it comes to Tua, who's already had multiple injuries, we got the concussion stuff, he's not playing well, I think I would be ready to move off of him fully. In the NFL, Dynasty, redraft, I ain't drafting him. Like all three phases. When it comes to Kyler Murray, he's going to go very low in drafts. I'm talking like outside the top 20 players. And he's also going to get traded and probably be in a competitive situation versus either a young rookie or somebody he can probably transition to in a year or if there's an injury. So I think his landing spot is very intriguing. One place that I want to see him go, I kind of already talked about, I think Pittsburgh would be a really good spot for Kyler Murray. Learn from Aaron Rodgers, play under Mike McCarthy. I think it's a good system for him as well. McCarthy's system, play under Mike McCarthy, and then just kind of grow in that role. I think that would be a best case scenario for him. Not to say that he shouldn't be starting somewhere, because I do think he's a starting caliber quarterback. But I do think going and playing with Rodgers, probably a lower cost for Pittsburgh, just gives him all the time that he needs. You pair him up with DK Metcalf. Like, I think this gives Kyler exactly what he would be looking for as far as a little less pressure, time to come in and learn the system. And then if something does happen with Aaron Rodgers and he gets banged up, which, I mean, at 42 years old, he probably will, 41, however old he is, he'll get banged up. Now it gives you the appropriate time. So overall, Kyler, Steelers, that's what I want to see. Any other players you guys want to know about? Jesse, what's popping, Jesse? Laughing a little bit, Jesse? I don't know what you're laughing about. But listen, it's been a while, and a couple of updates too. I've been going back and forth on how I want to approach content this year. I want y'all to give me give me some feedback on this in the comments. If you're watching this later, give me feedback in the comments. But I got two ways I'm either going to go about it. Number one is I'm about to get back to the grimy Justin, the one that would call out any and everybody weekly. It don't matter. Calling out creators, just got to be ultra aggressive. It brings a lot of negativity though. And I'm in a really good state, like positivity state. You know what I'm saying? That's the one case that I think I could go and like really kind of like wreck shit again, like I used to. Other way is I think instead of leaning into so many specific takes, because that's all people focus on, right? Like I know a lot of you guys probably like doing off-season drafts, watching the takes, and then coming back at the end of the year and saying, how accurate were you on preseason takes? Preseason takes really don't mean a whole lot. They don't mean shit, if we're being honest. Like you could have a really strong preseason, rankings and not win your league. You can draft, you can not hit and still win your league. There's enough savvy owners out there, and there's people in this chat, people in the comment section that I know can win a league without the strongest drafter hitting on every pick. So the other way I was thinking is kind of giving out more ranges, right? So instead of talking about Puka, y'all waiting on it? Instead of talking about Puka Nacua, and instead of talking about JSN the way that I did last year and saying, fade them, because I think it's a harsh word, fade. Instead of saying I never said don't draft them, but fade at cost, I think I'm gonna start giving like ranges of outcomes. And let me know what y'all think about that. Like, is that more helpful for you in the process? Because I think there was a world where I saw Puka being a top 3 to 5-ish. If Devontae Adams didn't hit, or I did not expect MVP Stafford. If anybody else did, you flat out lying. But I think I expected like Puka could do this. I didn't really say that a whole lot because you had to lean onto the flaws when you're going back and forth, right? Same thing with JSN. He was, Clint Kubiak came in there, but you were relying heavily on Sam Darnold looking like the Darnold that he looked like this year and winning a fucking Super Bowl. So I think for those cases, I want to have more of a range. Like Brian Thomas, I talked about the ceiling, right? I talked about Randy Moss-like ceiling. I still remember y'all think I'm going to go back over all of the good and bad takes I had, right? Michael Penix, Patrick Mahomes, I know what I said. I always remember what I said, and we're going to address it. Brian Thomas, I talked about him having a Randy Moss-like upside. I didn't really talk about the downside with taking him. And I think that's something I probably will change about my content coming in and how I deliver a message is, okay, I see a world where this is where I think the player lands. But here's also best case scenario, and here's worst case scenario, because I didn't talk about sophomore slump with Brian Thomas, which does happen a lot. So I think moving forward, I'm going to take that approach and I don't know if it's more cautious, but just more information. Betsy, what's good? Love the Tiger hat. Appreciate you, Betsy. Appreciate you. Gamble it all. You don't want to do that. Don't gamble it all. What's good? Volunteer was popping. Said, what up, JHEN? How you doing? Help me win some money this year. Happy to see you live again. Yes. I would say it's good to be back live. Obviously, I know time-wise is different for you. So for everybody else, I'm 16 hours ahead. 16 hours ahead right now. So for me, this is 5:30 in the afternoon. 5:30 in the afternoon. I'm a day ahead of y'all. I think when I started this live, you guys were just turning over to Sunday. I've been in Sunday almost the whole day already. So Brian Thomas in every league. Yeah, it's to finish answering your question though, or your statement. It is great to be back, and I'm glad I helped you win some money this year. That's honestly that's the goal of this page. Is I know a lot of people lean into how accurate I am, but I would say if you follow this page, you have a very good chance of winning your league. You have a very good chance of winning player props throughout the week. You have a very good chance of winning money throughout the year. Just a high probability, and it is well documented over the years. So Von Derer, is that how I say it? Von Derer? Von Eater? I don't know how the hell to say your damn name, bro. 9629. How I say your name, bro? I want to say Von Derek. That's literally what I want to say, but I know that's not even close. Von Eater. Vanitator. How the hell you say that, bro? How the hell you say that? I'm in Malaysia right now, and I can understand the language more than I can understand your name. How is that even possible, bro? Nah, but yeah, it's good to be back live, man, talking a little shit. And obviously, like I said, this year I got some, you know, fantasy football training camp year two. We will be back. The draft kit will be back. I got a couple other things I'm working on. I don't know if I'm gonna get it done. A couple of things I want to work on, bring something new to the community. For sure, we'll see fantasy football training camp two, part two. You'll probably see a link to that later this month, so you can get early access and shit. But yeah, we will win more money, and like I said, a couple other changes here. Hopefully, we'll see how it looks at the end of the year. I don't want to promise nothing because I am living my damn best life, bro. There is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Kuala Lumpur, but the second tallest towers in the world are here. They're literally right around the corner from me. The second tallest towers in the world are here. They're actually kind of dope. I took Brian Thomas in every league. Listen, I took Brian Thomas in a lot of underdog leagues, a lot of leagues in general, and probably more than I should have. Hold on a second. I took Brian Thomas in way more leagues than I should have, and it hurt. You know, it hurts not getting that kind of production early on, but it's how you adjust. You know, and the good thing is I also took the couple leagues I'm in, took Bijan Robinson. You know what I'm saying? Jonathan Taylor. So I think if you have some specific players you like, it's okay because if you took Brian Thomas early, you might have took Jonathan Taylor. We had talked a lot about Jonathan Taylor. You might have took Jonathan Taylor on the back end, who was a league winner for a good majority of the season, right? Kind of fell off towards the end, but a really good pick for a majority of the year. Or maybe you got Trey McBride in the third round because a lot of people were taking Brock Bowers. We had talked about taking Trey McBride in the third round. So maybe you got Trey McBride. So there was other ways, even if you take I'm assuming you said you won some money this year. So I'm assuming Brian Thomas did you well, bro. I'm assuming that pick didn't hurt you as much as everybody else thought it would, but I can understand those who took him first round. I can understand. It probably hurt, but 1:25 a.m. Get some sleep, Jeremy, bro. You ain't got to watch this, bro. Unless you just up chilling, I'm down for it. Have a drink. I don't know what the hell you're doing at 1:25, bro. But you need to get some sleep, bro. Get some sleep. You know what I'm saying? I just went live. I was like, listen, it's been a while. I felt good. I knew it was coming. I told myself March 1st was the day I was going to get back on it again, give myself enough time to really enjoy this. So I don't know if you guys have been, if anybody's been, like how many countries you guys have been to overseas. A lot of you guys have probably been way more than I've been to, but this was my first international, major international experience. I've been to Mexico at resorts, but I've been to Belize and done a cruise, but I never actually spent a lot of time internationally. So this has opened my eyes a lot. And just seeing everything that's out there for the world right now, everything that's out there in the world right now and how it impacts you. Like people live differently, just going across Europe, going across Asia, and it gives me a better understanding of people in general. And it sucks because like I said, football over here is different. I don't even I was watching DAZN is the sports provider out here. They don't care about football out here, bro. I can't even watch football. It's so hard. It was hard to watch the Super Bowl. I had to watch it, on one of the streaming sites. You guys know what I'm talking about. But it was hard to watch football this year, and I didn't miss it. I didn't miss football. Just getting the updates was good because of what I was doing and how I was kind of thriving and living life. So for those who are here now and will be in the future, we're back to the football. But this has been an important year for me. I turned 40 this year. I didn't get to celebrate that with you guys, but I turned 40 this year. So I got, this was a big growing year for me as, I try to make every year a growing year, but this was a big growing year for myself. So yeah, man, being over here 5:30 right now, it's 1:30 for you, Vaughn, 1:25 for you, Jeremy. Appreciate y'all tapping in and staying with me on the live. But yeah, it's been tough to even communicate and because when I go to sleep, y'all, is 12 o'clock at night for me is 8 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast. And then when I wake up, 8 o'clock is on the West Coast, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I want to say. So it's very tough, to get live and I don't know. Sound like a bunch of excuses, which probably it is, but I'm living life on vacation. So y'all will get a lot more of me now, just off hours. And like I said, we're going to be talking trades, free agents, whatever it is. Von Ederer. Von Ederer? Why? Is that your last name? There's no chance that's your last name. Von Ederer? Make me sound slow, bro. Von Ederer. Now, what do y'all think about the combine, man? What do y'all think about the combine? What's with that receiver, the one that was looking all crazy, looking like he was on Demon Time, talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown. What was his name? What was his name? I gotta find his name, bro. What was his name? The receiver that got interviewed about his top 3 receivers, he says he plays like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm like, he was looking crazy. I think it was Malachi something. What was his name? I gotta find him real quick. What was his name? Malachi Lemon. Lemon, bro. These dudes be answering the question that Fernando Mendoza, not said Francisco, my bad. Fernando Mendoza, I mean, he sounded like something straight out of Sims. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, like he had all the right answers. Like NBA 2K, you answer the questions there. He sounded like that for the NFL. I just want to be a good teammate. I don't care about the individuals. Just like every perfect answer. So I hope that guy kills it in the league. I'm like, man, I feel like he has all the personality of like a winner, says the right thing, does the right thing, but he kind of gives off Russell Wilson vibes. But Russell Wilson was a winner type quarterback. So the Underwear Olympics, yeah, I ain't watching the Underwear Olympics. I ain't watching no Olympics, bro. I feel like out here, it's been tough to watch anything. Only thing I got to catch a Muay Thai fight, which was super dope. I don't know if y'all ever watched Muay Thai, but I got to catch a Muay Thai match. That shit was dope. The one that was looking crazy, yeah, bro. He was like, I don't know what was he doing, bro. Like, was he trying to like? I don't know if that's just his personality or what. If he was just trying to show he's on demon time, like it looked kind of crazy, bro. I was like, I wouldn't draft you just for that reason. Like, you gonna come at me crazy? Like, I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. Was Lemon on something? Malachi Lemon, bro, all I know is you better become a good receiver because otherwise you're just going to be a meme, bro. You're going to be a meme. I don't think it's intentionally. I think these young kids all deserve a chance. And, like, that's a lot of pressure, too. Like, how do you want to come off? Do you want to come off as somebody like, I'm intense, I'm ready to go? Like, you never know what the messaging was. But I'm like, bro, you was on demon time a little too much, my boy. Just answer the question the right way. What you over there staring down reporters for? Like, these are, I think my boy, so I don't know if you guys, Trent, I don't know if Trent's been on this page. My boy Trent was the one who asked him the question about his top 3 receivers. Shout out to Trent, man. Y'all don't follow Trent's page. Flag on the Plays, his page. Go follow Trent. Flag on the page. They do a bunch of debates back and forth, but he interviews a lot of players. Shout out to the boy Trent. But yeah, I don't know what his deal was. Like, there's being intense, and then there's like, being weird. I think he kind of came off as weird, but that's what happens when you're a kid trying to make it to the league. I cannot tell what emoji that is, bro. I'm old, dog. I'm old. I can't tell what emoji that is, bro. I don't even look at what is that? Is that a weird emoji? Like, what the fuck is that? What is that? What is that? The combine's interesting because I think we put so much stock into like, oh my God, he looks athletic. The tight end that's going crazy. There was a linebacker, the one that was jumping like he was like 6'6", had a 43-inch vertical. Like, I feel like the combine is crazy because we get these, the people we've never seen some of these guys. Quarterback, what's his name? Why can't I think of his name right now? The quarterback the one that's like 3rd, 4th round quarterback. What's his name? The one that ran a 4.340. This is how rusty I am right now, y'all. Y'all would not have wanted my advice. Taylor Green, that's his name. Taylor Green. Y'all seen Taylor Green run the 4.340, and it's like his draft stock's probably going to go up. In fantasy and dynasty now, everybody's going to be like, oh, this is what Anthony Richardson's supposed to be. Like, just be careful on putting so much emphasis in the combine. I do it. I am guilty of taking 6'4", 40-inch vertical, 4.4 40. I am very guilty of doing the same thing and getting excited about those prospects. Sometimes we got to slow down on them as well, all right? If they don't always hit. Speaking of combine, where do you see Love going? This is a very good question, by the way. So, Jeremiah Love, obviously talented running back, going to be productive in the league. I think he's going to be better than Jeremiah Love's going to be a very good running back in the league. And I think this is one of those guys we talk about probably being a league-leading rusher. Somebody get very excited about in the future. We're talking like Bijan Robinson, the Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor. I think he fits in that elite running back. Plus, he catches the rock as well, right? So now we're getting a pass catcher for fantasy. I love to see this more than I loved Ashton Jeanty last year. I didn't really think Ashton Jeanty had year one impact. I do think he finishes the top 10 back last year. But I wasn't really feeling Ashton Jeanty as a top 10 fantasy pick because the Raiders were bad. And he didn't really catch the rock a whole lot in college. Well, we don't got to worry about that with Jeremiah Love. So the favorite landing spot, what he's talked about, what a lot of people are talking about, obviously, Kansas City. They're at pick 10, though. So let's go over to teams and where I think he could really end up, because it seems like right now the favorite landing spot for Jeremiah Love is Kansas City. That's where it feels like everybody wants him to go. But I have a couple other destinations. Let me get your guys' thoughts on it. I want you guys to drop your thoughts in the comments, all right? So the first pick's the Raiders. Obviously, they're going Mendoza. And then I think, Jets probably getting Caleb Downs. I think that's about right. Now, the Cardinals is interesting because you got a new coach over there. And I think third is a little early for Jeremiah Love. But after running a 4.36, nothing is really like out of the realm. I think that's a little early for him. Tennessee also needs a running back, but you have a new regime there. Robert Saleh, you got Brian Daboll. So Brian Daboll is probably going to lean on the quarterback a little bit more. But we got Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears. That's not the most convincing running back room. I don't think they go there. The Giants are also very interesting, but I'm not sure that he goes to the Giants. Cam Scatterbo injured. You got Tyrone Tracy. They needed a running back last year, right? And imagine a guy like Jeremiah Love coming to the big, to over there to Big Blue. Like, we'll see. Cleveland. Now, Cleveland is a place I know they need a receiver as well, and I think right now, obviously, like the run game could use help, and you got Quinshon Judkins who'll be coming back. You spent a second-round pick on him last year. I think the Browns are very interesting. Well, having a 1-2 punch, you got Jerome Ford, and it feels like, the Browns have kind of ran. That's a division you want to have two running backs in, the AFC North, right? You want to be able to have two running backs. And so I could see a world with that defense getting the ground game going. You already have, decent quarterback option. I think Shador will be good, not great, if given the keys. For better or for worse, don't kill me on this. Deshaun's coming back. For better or for worse, he was not playing bad before his injury. Deshaun's coming back. So you have a little bit of options there. The team could also decide in the draft to go get a quarterback or potentially sign one. So I don't know what the quarterback situation looks like yet. I think we still need to figure that out, but there's options there. I think at running back, this team could use what Quinshon Judkins was doing last year, depending on how he looks from his return from injury. So I think the Browns are an intriguing spot. The Commanders, right? Dealing like trade away Brian Robinson. Obviously, we got to see Eckler, but we also got to see why am I blanking on his name right now? Running back for the Commanders. Why am I blanking on his name? See, this is when I'm not in mode, it's a little different. Why am I blanking on his name? We're going to find it right now. Cross-Camere, Bill Cross-Camere. So Cross-Camere, obviously, like he 7th round pick, he's not the guy you want leading this team for the future, right? I think the Commanders, fresh off of letting Cliff Kingsbury go, I think the Commanders already have, you got Terry McLaurin, invested in him. Jaden Daniels could use a running back right now. I think the Commanders is where we see Jeremiah Love go. I don't think he lasts past there. I don't think he lasts past the Commanders. As much as he would want to go play with Patrick Mahomes, play with Kansas City, I don't see him lasting past pick 7. That's personally where I think he goes. Lemon's face was crazy, bro. Lemon's face was crazy. Crazy, bro. Like, I don't know. He looked like some demon, something possessed him. I ain't like it. Green, what was he talking about? Oh, you talking about Taylor Green? Browns have drafted another 2 quarterbacks. I don't know what they were thinking last year, but I look at them this year and I'm like, okay, obviously the defense is good. The defense is good enough. Like that defense should be able to be a playoff type defense. Now you have no receivers really. You got Jerry Jeudy, you got Cedric Tillman. Like the receivers are beyond mid, and David Njoku's out, so you got Harold Fannin. But I think this team probably will address like offensive line, and I think at the running back position they'll probably pick somebody else up. I don't think Jerome Ford is the answer as a backup. Dylan Sampson's not really the answer as a backup. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see him get a quarterback in the second, third round. Shador, I mean, Pro Bowler Shador Sanders, which is wow, that's a whole nother topic. Pro Bowler Shador Sanders. I think Shador is good enough to start, and I think he'll progress. And you get somebody in there, you get Todd Monken in there who can kind of put pieces around him and make him thrive. That's the one thing is though they're going to air it out. I just think that they needed something to kind of slow teams down with the run game. We'll see. We'll see what they do with the quarterback position. Deshaun Watson, I think he comes back and has an opportunity to compete for the starting gig. Wouldn't be shocking to see them get. I don't think like a Tua or a Kyler comes in there. Wouldn't be shocking to see another quarterback come in there though. I like the Commanders a lot too, especially with all the JD injuries, but also their defense is terrible. Yeah, I could see them getting some help on defense. But I think the Commanders' defense was a little underrated at times last year. It did need some work, but I think part of that was because their offense also wasn't. It was a little more stagnant too with Jaden Daniels being out. So I think first of all, Jaden Daniels got to be healthy, but second of all, like that team in general just had a ton of injuries, and so I think when Jaden Daniels gets back, you already got your receiver. The line is decent. I think the defense was decent. I don't think it was terrible. I think it was terrible because their offense was also bad. But I think the Commanders would be a really good spot for Love. And then you have a really good core because Terry McLaurin is, 28, I want to say? He's got another 3-4 years left. Debo, I don't know if Debo returns, but you got Luke McCaffrey who started – he looks like he could be a good secondary receiver on that team. They probably could sign somebody else. They may be re-signed Debo. But I think Jeremiah Love would fit really well with the Commanders personally. So I agree. Any other questions y'all got for me specifically? One thing I just want to give an update on the frequency, probably once a week right now if you're at baseline, once a week, probably a little bit more. Going to be working in some NFL content, some NBA content. I want to kind of broaden from just fantasy and talk real as well because I think I have more to offer than just fantasy. I know that's what I'm known for and what people need me for, but I'm a little bit more versatile than just fantasy. So, I mean, we talk about the game. We talk about X's and O's a lot on this page already. So I think I'm going to start to show a little bit more of that NBA content as well. Like, I understand this stuff at a very good level, I would say. I'm not fucking, GM or anything, but I think enough to be able to help you guys with your fantasy leagues and also like talk NFL, help you guys make winning bets as well. So that's my intention this year is to do more of that. Get you guys an awesome fantasy football training camp and help you guys win your fantasy leagues this year. So I'll be traveling throughout for the next couple months until May, and then I'll be back in a new state. I'm actually moving as well. But yeah, I will be back very soon to talk that. But yeah, there's a lot in store this year. Obviously, things will ramp up here after the draft in April. We'll be full swing by then. So for now, if you guys got questions in the comments, I didn't answer a bunch of them on vacation before. This is a slower month for me. Hit me on IG, hit me on Twitter, hit me on TikTok. Things are a little slower for me right now. So if you got a dynasty question, trade question, whatever, feel free to drop it on my DM, personal. It's all good. All good. Website will be updated here in the next month or two. For those who are depending on the website, I think about week 5, week 6, content stop there. It will be back up and going. So just know that there was a pause button, not a delete button, not a stop button. It was just a pause button for a little bit, but we back in it. So other than that, if y'all don't got any other questions, I'm going to get off the chat for a little bit and give you guys a chance to enjoy the rest of your Saturday morning, Sunday morning, whatever it is out there. And I'll be back soon. All right. Much love to y'all. Peace out.